Good evening, SpeedGaming fans, and welcome back to the Super Metroid Randomizer Mystery Tournament. Here in Week 6, we have a 3-2 group action between Nitro and sunwufarmer. My name is DJ Webb, and I will be bringing you this race on commentary along with Anthony. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going well. How about you?
Yep, I am doing good. Excited to be in the booth with you. You picked up commentary recently, from what I understand, but you've been doing a good job, so this should be a fun time.
I appreciate it. It's always good to hear you on comms.
Yeah, we were just talking about our runner's path to get here. Nitro started really hot this tournament and has had two quite unfortunate races the past couple of weeks. So he's ended up at 3-2, while Sunwoo Farmer actually beat my co-com last week to advance to 3-2. Both runners are already qualified for the bracket stage of our tournament. Just jockeying for some positioning here, and it should be hopefully an exciting race.
Oh, 100%. And we got WX fan in the chat, super hyped, as always.
I think he wakes up with his hype level already on like 12.
100.
Here we are getting started, and these two runners did face off a little bit ago. About 2 months ago, we had a little tournament over Memorial Day weekend. Nitro was the victor of that series. I don't quite know the score, but two very good runners for sure, and we'll hopefully get an exciting match here in the mystery tournament. Why don't you tell our good friends in the chat about how this mystery tournament works out?
Well, yeah. So we have all these different random settings, item splits. Like in this case, it looks like it's going to either be Chozo or Major Minor. And they also start with the either starter or starter plus charge beam. And what that's going to do is going to give them a charge beam that does a third of the damage that it would normally do. And there could either be one or two charge upgrades that would power it up to full strength or half or two-thirds. And so morph. So at this point, we're not quite sure whether or not it's Chozo or Major Minor, but for it to be Chozo, it has to be there. So there's a pretty good chance it's going to be Chozo. And along with these other settings, there's also boss randomization, and we can get into a bit more of the details of that as it becomes more, necessary.
That's right. We are hopefully going to be able to discern our item split shortly. Most of the time, if you can tell early, it's usually the item in the ceiling here in this next room. The missile that they picked up is almost always a minor item regardless. And the E-Tank is a strong hint towards major minor, but not quite. It could still be both. So we'll have to see what else happens here, as we do not get any explosives. So we are going to be headed back up to the top of the planet.
Yeah, I know in one of the matches this series, we've had, I think like 7 or 8 item checks before we could tell whether or not it was Chozo or Major Minor. So you may not find out right away.
Yes, the ambiguity can last for quite a bit. There are some subtleties, especially with how Chozo works, that can give you the information a little bit earlier than you might otherwise have it. But for now, we're just going to be seeing how our runners handle these next few rooms and figuring out a little bit more about the seed. Like you said, we have a few other things we can look at, whether or not our map is vanilla or has area randomization. And most of the other things, you either can't really tell or you find out as you go, like the extra items and the minor ammo distribution, things like that. Those things, either you just don't know until the credits, or you kind of have to guess based on how your ammo pickups go throughout the seed. But this one is super, isn't bad. The supers especially, you like to have those early on, and we'll see how long it takes for our power bombs to show up. I know that there have been some seeds this tournament where some of the miners have been difficult to find. I know I had a late super seed myself in one of the rounds.
Yeah, I think I've had a late super and a late power bomb in different ones. Oh, there you go. We got the power bombs.
Yes, and despite that E-Tank in the ceiling looking like Major Minor, we do in fact have Chozo. So we are looking at the most restricted and most nuanced item split Chozo. There are only 25 locations for major upgrades and some ammo and energy to beat the game. And as well as that, those are the only items for the most part that the logic takes into account. So, for example, the super missile that they found at the beta missile, as well as the E-tank in the ceiling, actually, the logic doesn't necessarily care that you have them. It's going to put the items that you need to beat the game in other places, like this ice beam that we found on the 230 missiles.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a good find. Lets you get to Botwoon in order to get to the Dragon boss location, and can also help with Zeb skip later on in Mother Brain.
Ice is the item you're always happy to find, except for right now when it makes every enemy die in 2 shots instead of 1. So
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of people will just kind of turn it off early, but if you have other ammo or if you can just tank damage as you see Nitro doing there, usually you'll be alright. That was barely breaking one of those bomb blocks by Sunwoo. That was kind of funny.
I've never seen that before.
But here comes the moment of truth where we have a flashing door or a red door here to tell us our map state, and we do get area randomization.
I should bring up my tracker here.
Quick rundown on area randomization is that the rooms in the game are grouped together in confined areas. We've been in Criteria for the first part of the game, and then we've seen Red Brent Star over here, as well as East Meridia on the left side. And there are predetermined portals that are the same every seed. They will take you to different parts of the map, and you have to navigate with the information that you gain and see how the seed plays out. We've also got a frontal lower warfare going all over the world today right now, early on.
Yes, and Red Bryn Star is a pretty good location to find when you have supers and power bombs and it's Chozo split. There'll be 2 majors here and 3 if they're able to do the X-ray check. But I think with this amount of health, it's probably going to be a little while before that happens.
Yes, as Nitro does the check that Sunwoo didn't early on, gets into Business Center through the tube. So we're gonna come down here. Sunwoo isn't even gonna go back. He also didn't look at that other Criteria portal. He's just blazing forward. Pardon me.
Yeah,
So
I think
Nitro's gonna have a little more information early on.
Yeah, if I had to guess, he's probably feeling like he's a bit of the underdog here, and he's taking a lot of risks, which can ultimately pay off or really set you behind.
Ooh, there is a Kraid's Lair find. See if he's actually going to leave or stay. Yeah, he is going to look at this boss. The odds of being able to kill this boss with our mystery parameters are pretty good. Chozo makes it so that there's a maximum of 1 item here, and if it happens to be Fantoon, there's actually 0 as far as Chozo items. But even in that case, if you can kill the boss, it's usually still pretty good outcome. So we'll see what that holds here.
Yeah, and Nitro picking up enough energy here for the hell run to ice, so that'd be another major check here.
Yep. That would be the one worry coming down here. He came in with only 1 tank, so this ice hell run is difficult to do if you only have 1. So very happy to end up with 3 total to make this pretty comfy. He's even gonna tank that hit, not even worry about killing the enemies. Gets the bombs. They're pretty nice, especially with only 5 current power bombs. But also not necessarily the most impactful item, depending on how the rest of the seed treats you.
All right, and we're about to find out who's our boss here. The Vanilla Kraid, and that doesn't really give us whole lot of information on what type of boss randomization we have. So it could still be any of the 4 possible boss randomizations.
Ooh. Not only did he miss the quick kill, he had very low ammo coming in here, so he's only got 1-1. Needs 2 more supers worth of damage to kill the boss. And there is a super farmed up.
Definitely a nice drop.
Got a couple charge shots in there. Oh, maybe one of those hit and I just didn't think it did. It looked like the other side of Lower Norfolk there for Nitro here at Crademouth. So I already found both of those early on. This crate is hiding the spring ball today.
Yeah, I mean, spring ball's, a luxury item as they say, but I think, especially in Chozo, there's not like any real major locations that would be locked behind it. Possibly X-ray, but yeah, it's not going to be super impactful either.
If Gravity Suit is hiding away, it can aid in skipping that suit, but typically you're mostly able to find Gravity in a comfortable way. In the Chozo item split, as Nitro wanted that super, I expect he's actually going to be showing us X-Ray after a Slitter's refill, but we'll see how he's feeling right now. And there's part one.
It's probably a good refill, regardless of whether you're going to do it. But yeah, I think, yeah, especially with this save here, it looks like he's gonna be doing this X-ray check here.
Yep. Other benefit of this is that you refill your power bombs, which we're getting a little low for him. He does have those bombs to supplement those, however. But never going to be upset to be higher on them than you currently are. Oh, that's bad.
Whoa.
And he somehow recovered this. I don't know if the timing is bad, but no, he's fine.
Wow, that that was crazy.
Yeah, an amazing recovery. I did not think he was going to be able to do that. So, very nicely done. As we see two Red Tower Chozos at the same time. Energy and a charge upgrade. It is the full charge upgrade on sunwufarmer's side, and Nitro not going to have any issue getting back, as he seemingly has forgotten the bombs that he picked up and uses all of his power bombs here to get out. But he'll be fine. Looks like it was also a reserve back there in alpha power bombs.
Yeah, and it's very easy to forget you have morph bombs. A lot of these seeds just don't give it to you, and it's just kind of like a force of habit. But yes, he's definitely gonna have to farm up a few here.
Yep. So one of the other things about Red Tower, very convenient to farm up all of your ammo, depending on which one you need and where you are. There's B-toms and zeros to give you power bombs. There's CACs at the top and the bottom that'll give you supers. So heads up plays here, Nitro farming. Is going to be positionally trailing Sunwoo, but given the excess information, hard to call it anything a lead right now. We're just going to have to see what decisions our runners make. Once a seed gives them options to divert more than they currently have. There's bottom of West Meridia.
Yeah, so a lot of these portals here in Red Bryn not really connecting to anywhere, but yeah, man, I guess with 3 tanks you could do, the Bubble Mountain, but most people kind of opt to try to skip hell runs as much as they can.
Yep, the hell runs are a little bit of a slower option, especially with the current ammo. No crystal flashing, so any health you lose, you are farming up the slow way. And there are 3 portals back in criteria. I believe we haven't seen the logical super yet, which means it wants you to go down meme route, but I expect they'll just go over to the right side regardless of that knowledge.
Yeah, meme route's pretty out of the way, and I think most of the time people are hoping they're gonna find it, somewhere else, so that they don't actually have to go and check it and see if it's like some one-way required location.
Yep. Sunwoo is going to be coming back this way. Most likely, he is going to be cleaning up the information that Nitro gathered, both with this business center and that left side criteria portal that leads to the back of East. So, once Sunwoo's done with this and Nitro can clean up this boss fight plus the top of Red Brain stuff, they're going to be in a pretty even state, as they're also going to be even on not getting the crate quick kill. A little bit of issue there for Nitro, but he should be able to clean this up pretty quickly as long as the fingernails decide to let him live. Good grief.
Raid being a little mean.
Once again, simultaneous pickups. So I'm curious to see how the rest of this map leads us around. We have not seen any of the Green Brinstar portals. We also haven't seen Wrecked Ship. Those are the two biggest ones, and then we've got two dead ends outstanding as well, Crocomire and Turian. One of which you care about a little bit more than the other.
That's Crocomire, right?
Exactly. Always bet on Croc. That's what they say.
But yeah,
You had a lot
especially in
to say.
Chozo, Crocomire is not really something you want to see. It's only got one major item location, and you know, with Chozo it may not even be a major, so it's definitely not something that you seek out.
Yep. Things are tucked away quite heavily behind the grapple beam down there, but sometimes Croc has the goods, and sometimes you just don't care. But like we said, we're getting close to being on parity here. I don't necessarily think that either runner's route is better than the other one's, pathing wise. Just doing things in a different order. So once they get back into criteria, which I believe Sunwu's going to be ahead on because he didn't do the X-ray check that Nitro did, he's probably going to be a little bit ahead. Just an E-tank down.
Yeah, and
What?
okay.
You go.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, and you know, someone's probably gonna be skipping it or completely, so he's, you know, kind of look out there that it wasn't anything significant.
I hadn't realized when we were talking about those hell runs that we do have speed, which makes them a little bit nicer. People are asking about Chozo tanks. One of them is at high jump, so that one's definitely in logic. Well, actually, no, because none of this is in logic because it's through the tube, but regardless, no one really cares about that. The other one's X-ray, which is for sure not yet in logic. So
yeah, it's fairly unlikely that the hell runs would be in logic in that case.
we will have to see what we want to do. Sunwufarmer is, for the time being, staying in Norfair. He's got 2 more Chozos as well as a few portals on the outskirts of Norfair to check. But yeah, with speed, they're a lot more appetizing than I was thinking about without. So, certainly a fine play, but you could definitely make a different decision, namely back in criteria. Especially for Sunwoo, I would think he would want to get that portal cleaned up that he didn't backtrack to check at the beginning, but he is just, like I said earlier, he's just blazing forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a risky play, but if he does find like Varia, which probably wouldn't be here, but or Gravity, I mean, it could definitely help out a lot. I think, you know, at this point you could go back and to East Meridia, which is kind of locked away on this side of the map.
Yep. So speed's gonna be the first check. Much quicker with the speed booster already in tow. Hopefully he doesn't have too many issues here. I know that the wave being hell run specifically has gotten me quite a few times and probably will get me quite a few more times. That room just doesn't agree with me for whatever reason.
I'm right there with you.
Ooh, as Nitro tried to get the running jump up there to come back into Norfair. I think from that ledge you can probably springball jump, but looks like he's deciding otherwise and is just gonna end up back in criteria.
You know, he wanted to create some divergence. He thought about it for a second and decided, you know, it's better if we diverge here.
Yes, he does have the ability with the power bombs, and health that he's acquired to check Gauntlet if he so desires. And otherwise, he's got 2 portals on the right, very easily accessible. You can spark over moats. And he's got 1 down at meme route. As it looks like Space Jump was hiding out at Speed Booster. Very nice item to find, especially this early on in the seed.
And definitely helps out a lot with movement. Makes, lower Norfair easier. I guess they know where the back of it is. But, yeah. Looks like he's skipping Gauntlet there, and we're gonna figure out what's at these portals here.
Yes, indeed. First up, down here, that's the Criteria Crab Hole, is what I like to call it. Finds back of wrecked ship. Not going to be looking at that at this moment. And then we've got the moat. He does lay this power bomb, and then probably he sparks across. That's what I would expect.
Yeah, CWJ is, not the easiest trick. But, if you didn't have speed, I'm sure you'd try it.
And there's another super missile. Both of our runners have found a second one in their respective paths. As we get a save there, the space jump definitely makes it very nice to end up coming through here multiple times. Don't have to worry about that tricky save room jump, no turning speed on, off, etc. But we reconverged as Nitro once again with plenty more portal knowledge. He's actually gonna look at wave beam first. A little bit risky this check, but Nitro's confident in his abilities.
I'm assuming that that reserve tank is full at least.
Yeah, he definitely just ship saved. There's missile pack number 2. So we're looking. The only ammo outstanding is 2 super missiles somewhere out there in the wild, and Nitro actually resets after seeing that missile. Potentially just gonna head to meme route now, which would be a little unfortunate because probably he's putting off that space jump for quite a while, if not forever. But most likely he'll be fine, regardless of that. I don't know. He just wanted his health back in a quicker way.
That might be a fair choice.
Definitely a play I can respect. Is he gonna get this spark?
Oh,
I think if he was high enough, he actually would have had it. That would have been cool.
See potentially a little high five here.
Yep. Some of his are also full, so not gonna be in too much trouble here. But if he wants to come back to get the other Upper Norfair portal information, probably he's gonna want to ship save, but that'll be totally fine. The bottom portal is, you can access wreck ship from the back. He does have space jump. That will be an interesting play for sure. But even if you are going to make that play, I think you would ship refill before that as well.
Right.
Although the Kagos are sufficient, especially when you mostly just need health. But not what he's going to do. A little bit more awkward for him, like I was talking about. He doesn't know what the far left portal is in Criteria. He didn't double back for that after seeing Red Tower. And Nitro didn't refill super duper high. If he was planning on E-Tank Varia or resetting again, that space jump's probably going to throw a wrench in that plan. 115's probably enough to get back, but it's going to be tight. And he did turn off that ice beam for the probable pause abuse that's coming at the end of this. Ooh.
Oh.
He got it. Very
gosh.
nicely done. That's why you pause abuse, ladies and gentlemen. Quirky mechanic of this game where if you pause and your energy reaches 0, the game cannot kill you, and a pause fade in or fade out. So very nice to see that accomplished for Nitro. And like I talked about earlier, the logical progression is very, very certainly through the meme route portal. They're pretty much just going to lead to your supers, and we'll see where else it wants you to go from there. But depending on what is at Gauntlet, which could really be anything that's not a suit, it's possible that that wreck ship play is actually pretty viable. It could be the high jump boots sitting up there, but Sunwoo is going to end up back in Red Tower. I think most likely he's just gonna end up back in Upper Norfair and check those other portals from here. At least that's what I would do. Yeah, that's what it looks like he's doing. He's gonna try to get this running jump in here. Oh,
Oh,
definitely want to bonk that little platform on the side. That way you can stop your horizontal momentum and just keep going up. Nitro is here going towards Chronic Boost. Very nice handling of this Magdalite hallway. And there is the reward, Green Brent
wow.
Star.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if, like, the top or middle of a green here is going to be meme portal.
That's what I expect, honestly. There's nowhere else that can actually give you supers, I think, because you need supers to do anything in Rick Ship. And that's pretty much
That's
the only
right.
other place that has items. So yeah, he is going to have found meme route somewhere in one of these, and it's not that one. That's it could be you fall down there from the top. That would be kind of funny. Actually, if this isn't meme route at the top, you can probably deduce that pretty comfortably. So it looks like Sunwoo also didn't know about this Baccalaureate Warfare. His portal gathering has been not as thorough as some people like to play this, so having to make some extraneous checks here or there that are a little bit quicker to have done when you first could have done them, as there are those logical supers at the charge beam. Nitro tried to do that super shot in a way that looked pretty. I'm sure he has a setup, and that could have worked, but it looked kind of like he was just swinging for the fences on that. Kind of funny.
All right, I think we got one more major check at Brent Star Reserve.
Yep. Somebody was now going to show us this other Upper Norfair portal to the croc door, trying to get this gate glitch. I think. Well, I was gonna say I think he's too close the way he's trying to do this, but he got it anyway, so it's fine. Beam is pretty good from here with charge ice wave, 180. Not the greatest beam you've ever had, but nothing to shake a stick at. You'll be fine with that. Hope to find one of spades or plasma for the in-game damage, and you've already seen Nitro has been skipping some missiles already.
Yeah, might make Ridley a little bit of trouble, but found Torian there, and Gravity at other Brent Star Reserve.
Yes, indeed. First suit found here in Green Bryn Star. That is going to unlock both Rec Ship and East Radia for us. And almost certainly one of those has a killable boss, unless we have double surprise Ridley in those cases. But if that was the case, our variant locations would be quite significantly lowered, considering it would just be like Croc and Shacktool. But I don't think that's a very, very, very unlikely position for us to end up in. This Gravity is going to let us pretty much go wherever we want from here, as Sunwoo is going to have the Turian knowledge over Nitro for quite a while, but more than likely Nitro is just going to be able to deduce that by elimination.
Definitely. We've already gotten most of the location information at this point.
Here is Crocomire hiding out at the top of Green Bryn Star. So I do believe that confirms what I expected or suspected about the top of West Meridia being Redfish, and that leads you down here, or the Redfish being meme route, and that leads you down here from the meme route. Check.
I can't think of any other way it would work, so I think you're right.
So, given the very, very secluded nature of this Croc, Nitro is going to elect to come here and kill him and reap his rewards. We do also have that charge beam, which is logically required for this check in Chozo. Sunwoo didn't do the double duty powerbomb placement here in Pink Brinstar to you can break the bomb blocks to charge as well as the ones to spore spawn at the same time, but he did not elect to do that. He'll be fine. He's gonna have to break these. And he is now the one that's going to be positionally trailing a little bit. Like I said, he's got that portal information for Tyrion, but most likely Nitro is just going to be able to deduce that, especially considering after this he most likely goes up to West Meridia and gets the portals that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, I think that'd lead him a pretty good path going through Wreck Ship and, and then easily getting back to East Meridia and Lower Norfair. And then probably knowing where Torian is at that point.
For sure. So let us see what Crocomire has for us today. It's those high jump boots.
Yeah, and if Sunwoo decides to skip Croc here, that might give him a little bit of an edge. Or not an edge, but get him caught back up.
Oh, that, however, is not going to catch him back up. The speed blocks were just a little bit too close to him. He is either electing to spark up because he doesn't know, or he just thinks this is the faster way and he doesn't care too much about his health. But as you saw, those speed blocks do not reform in this randomizer. Basically, it's a soft lock prevention. Because if you end up down there with not enough energy to spark back up, you are in a bad spot. But yeah, considering where this Croc is, I think not getting Varia but getting high jump boots is probably an acceptable result.
Yep, better than another missile pack.
For certain. Nitro almost gets that beautiful moonfall down the Green Star shaft. Here comes another moment where we're gonna have to see what sunwufarmer decides if he wants to do this Crocomire or not. Where Nitro, I very much expect, is just going to be in West Meridia. He'll find most likely that Redfish leads to Mimra and Pre-Aqueduct leads to the front of the wreck ship. And I expect he'll go in from there. Or he elects for option B, which is to just go back in. Oh, he's saving. I was going to say, he could just come back down here and go in the red tower. That would put him right next to the East Meridia portal.
Looks like that is what he's doing.
Certainly not a bad play.
Especially with the back of East Meridia taking you to Criteria, which I don't know if that's what he's going to elect to do. Probably not, because Lower Norfair is here. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. We'll have to see, especially depending on where various suit ends up. If you don't get that here, you probably want to be heading to Wreck Ship next. And it's kind of fine whichever way you go to it, given that we know that front is in West Meridia. It's probable that he suspects that as well, but we'll see what happens here. We've got no X Factor here. He has only Wave Beam equipped and the item loadout that you would expect to be able to set up your normalized setup. But I know Nitro is mostly a rando runner, has very, very limited vanilla experience, so it's possible he's not a Batsu and X Factor person in any case.
That's definitely the case for me.
And especially for X Factors, if you do not know the setup or you're not comfortable with it, trying to do it and failing it is much more costly than trying and failing other strategies. Because those particles can linger on screen for quite a while and you cannot do anything until they're gone.
Oh. So I better say that one reward from getting high jump would have been getting that full halfie there.
So he did save in West Meridia, so if this is Ridley, that is where his reset's gonna be. As he has finally picked up another missile, he's probably shunned the last 3 or 4 he's seen, but for whatever reason, this one he said yes. But we've seen one vanilla boss, so vanilla bosses are a little bit more likely, and they are not. That's Ridley.
Oh,
The lack of fade out with the same way door transition was the key there. So we have shifted style bosses that did continue to say East Meridia there. So Botswoon is back in the cards for Nitro. Gonna have to kill the snake again when he goes through East Meridia. But yeah, it looks like Vari is hiding out in Wreck Ship. Unless it's at Spring Ball, which will be awful.
yes, they do have ice. That does put it in logic.
Yes, Nitro is going to be up here checking out our West Meridia portals. We very, very much expect this is meme route. Don't know how the seed works otherwise. And then the right pre-aqueduct portal will be the front of Wreck Ship.
There you go. You were right.
It is also the case that, given the likelihood that there is only one Ridley in any given seed, the non-vanilla Ridley does give you the option to potentially try and skip the various suit. Chozo lends itself a little bit less towards that just because you are typically checking fewer locations that have minor items, which limits both your super count and your E-Tank count. Nitro, as you see, is only sitting on 15, so even just for various skipping the Ridley fight itself, you typically want to have double that amount. And then the lower Warfare run will require you to Crystal Flash some, and you would like to have more supers for that as well. But we'll see what happens. Wreck Ship could just give it to him in one of these first few items, especially if this is Dragon, for example. We'll have an additional Wreck Ship major compared to what you would expect if Phantom was hiding out here.
And looks like Sunwoo is or chose to come back here to Wreck Ship, so you're getting a little bit closer.
Yes. In terms of knowledge, there was one gained by Nitro on that East Meridia play, but he did not accomplish anything towards completing the seed. So almost pure time wasted, but he is going to X Factor here in Dragon.
Ooh, Dragon getting very close to death here.
Yes, very, very nicely done on that fight. Someone coming in here with less total health and less current health. Gonna have to be a little bit careful as the reward is very nice here from Dragon. The Plasma Beam in tow. It's gonna make our damage very, very high. No need for basically any minor pickups. Also, once again, going to incentivize the various suit being found as we've got more X Factor strats here. Although he jumped a little bit haphazardly there. These particles are gonna stick around for not as long as they could have, but he is not super full on his ammo, so a lot of those supers look like they hit to me, but gonna be charge shots and farming for the rest of this fight.
Looks like we got 2 more locations here at Wreck Ship where the Varia could be.
Sunwoo getting grabbed here though by the goo. Does get that energy pickup and wiggles up before any damage done, so things are going okay for him in this fight. Just needs to get a good farm here, and probably with these missile pickups he can kill on the next goop cycle. Ooh, oh, well, he did not yet kill, and he took a body hit, Dragon does quite a bit of damage with one suit only, so got to be a little bit careful here. But like I said, he's been handling this pretty well so far.
And there we find Varia.
Our prized possession in hand. Nitro going to be zooming through the rest of this one. Can return to East Meridia to fell the Space Pelican. Who was a charge shot away, and thank goodness for that, because he was getting close to teetering on the edge of disaster there, but not even in health bomb. He's gonna be fine with these ammo pickups, and hopefully no issues in the wreck ship on his way to the various suit pickup. As Nitro looked at East Ocean before deciding that he wanted to just come back here and route this way. Like I said, most likely he's going to go back to East Meridia, do that, and then he'll have Lower Norfair and Turian, which he hasn't found, but I think already should be able to know where it is.
Yeah, I think he's seen every other portal at this point. Yeah, Somu here could potentially have a little bit of trouble with that spiky room of death. It's called that for a reason.
Yes, especially those Kazans. They will do 100 damage to him in his current situation. But as long as he's careful and intelligent, maybe even takes a safety save here, he'll be okay. The gravity suit does make the room traversal quite a bit easier there.
And it does look like he's opting for that save. Probably a good.
I'm happy to see that, for sure. So yeah, I think the path here for Nitro, we're going to come in here, do East Meridia, come back out the front most likely, then you can head down to the tube here in Red Tower. That'll take you to Upper Norfair, which has the back of wreck ship, or not wreck ship, the back of Lower Norfair. And then you can come back out there, and Turian is also in Upper Norfair. So pretty clean route to the end. As Sunwu, once again, teetering on the edge of disaster. This various suit will help his damage reduction, but he does still need to get out of here alive.
Yes, and then I think you're right on the routing. That's what I would do. So.
So the unfortunate Ridley here in East Meridia cost Nitro a bit of time, but his very nice movement, and especially the way that he checked portals, not having to double back for anything, or Sunwu had to do that quite a bit, made his path a little bit stronger, and he's going to be in a pretty good lead from here. Sunwu also, with that help, electing to go out this way. He's got some Kagos to farm here and not deal with the very dangerous spiky room of death. But that's going to put him into Criteria. He'll also be close to Upper Norfair if he goes into single chamber, so he can probably do East Meridia and Lower Norfair in a reverse order and end up a little bit farther away from Turian, but given his health situation, I think this was still pretty smart.
Definitely, especially after finding that Varia there and not wanting to reset. I think that was a good move.
Yep.
Thankfully, this map hasn't been super, closed off for certain areas. It's pretty open overall, and it's not going to lose a ton of time over it.
Yep. Nitro also not turning ice back on, giving himself 4 additional shots in this fight. I doubt he's forgotten that he has it, but maybe he just doesn't want to freeze anything ever and says he'll turn it back on for Turian. But with all of the movement you could ever want, plus the very strong beam, Ridley going down very quickly here for Sunwu. Also looks like whatever I was seeing with regards to how Sunwoo was going to do this, he just ended up in Red Tower regardless. Didn't exactly see how he did that, but he's going to be coming here to East Meridia, I expect.
He went through the Torian portal instead of going through Upper North Fair.
That's probably better. Yeah, that's probably better than what I was suggesting.
Probably pretty close either way.
Yes, indeed.
And let's see, looks like Nitro's deciding to go through the back of East Meridia, which would take him right to the Torian portal, or right next to it. So,
yep. This gets him to criteria to the bottom of Red Tower. We're going out the front. Would have put him at the top of Red Tower. This, I'm not sure about speed. It looks pretty close, whichever route you take. But these rooms are kind of long, and there is an elevator in the way. But typically, you see a path, and you do a path, and you'll be all right. And especially with Nitro's positional lead, he'll be comfortable regardless.
definitely.
So I'm having himself a pretty easy bottom fight as Nitro is once again subverting expectations. Really not sure where he's going this time. Ship refill seems totally unnecessary. Possibly he's just got things mistracked. That would be my guess. Or maybe not mistracked, but he's reading his tracker in a way that is less than optimal. But as stated, he'll be fine regardless, unless he truly gets lost for quite a while. This is definitely a lead, but it's also not like some gigantic, enormous lead. This is going to be pretty quick Ridley fight here. And
I'm guessing he's going to go through Kraid's lair from here.
This, I am certain, was not better than his alternative paths.
Well, not, definitely. But, you know, when you're in that racing situation, it can cause you to do little micro mistakes like that.
For certain.
So,
once again,
on health.
I was going to say, yes, someone needs to be a little careful here. He's only got 58. I believe he has a reserve, so seemingly auto reserves are turned off.
I wonder if he knows that.
Yeah. He's right now handling things pretty well, and also getting hit and not taking damage. He's also undercharging these and also just getting a little bit trolled by Ridley's very, very good hitbox. But he's also acting kind of crazy.
Oh.
Like, what on earth? Oh my goodness.
I was like, he's dead, but I think he's going to opt for trying to get him to explode there.
Yes. I've done that before, electing for the explosion kill over the grab because you get hit by the grab and you're just kind of done. Because Nitro gets stuck in the floor. Weird thing that happens there sometimes. But yeah, very, very nicely done to live that situation. Pretty scary.
Yeah, looking like Sunwoo's gonna take a different route here.
Ooh, double KO down here in Wasteland. Always nice to see.
My personal favorite Metal Pirate strat.
Yep. Once again, if you had Ice Beam turned on, you could do the new route strat, but it's both not turned on. And I do believe when he ran 80%, it was new route, but if you're not practicing that strat and you are at the speed strat, probably easier to just go with that one. We are expecting this to be Fantoon, but if surprise bosses are on, could be any of the four. But yeah, that's Fantoon.
Yes, I've.
There's the Ice Beam. He definitely knew he had it. Get a very, very, very comfortable 2-round fight. 2 shard shots does 1800 damage. Not really. Fantoon only has 2500, so you need 7 misses on top of that. Hopefully you get 4 in the first round and 3 in the second. You are good to go. No need to do any fancy Doppler strategies. Just quick and easy. And as you see, even missed one of those missiles at the beginning of round 2, and it did not matter. Very nicely done. Someone who's taking the doctor's prescribed path towards Lower Norfair without the detour into criteria. Sometimes in life, you know, you take the scenic route and you enjoy your time, your stay here on Zebes, but it is a race and you are trying to go fast. So Nitro, all he has in front of him is this Lower Norfair escape, and then heading to Turian. So looking to be probably going to tick over the hour by a little bit, but not too much. It'll be a very fast Turian. You've got all the movement you could ever want and the most powerful beam. Ooh, very, very nice speedball here as we're going to get a little high five here in the Keystairs room. Metro is also going for this new route manipulation. Although not quite, because he laid a power bomb instead of a bomb, and then he has spring ball, so he just wanted to do the jump in a cool way. I approve.
Nothing wrong with that.
Corners heading opposite ways in Lower Norfair. This was a pretty close race overall. There were a few points where one person zigged where the other zagged, but for the most part, the seed, if you didn't follow the logical path and find a green burn star early, led them to very similar locations. And Nitro, with his portal ordering as well as a little bit better movement overall, found a way to create some separation in this race.
As we mentioned, he's a very, very strong runner. Also doing map rando, so that may add to some of his little missteps here. Having to try to keep track of the logic of both and everything can be a little rough.
Yep. Map is a little bit less chaotic on this side, but yeah, especially if you've been switching back and forth, you can get a little bit mixed up. Nothing wrong with that. Oh, unfortunate. Had some missiles appear, or shot in different phases than he expected. Is gonna get an extra round here for Sunwu's Fantoon. Ooh. And I said probably gonna tick over the hour mark. I think in Rando you can do like a 6-minute turn from entry without the cutscene here, so I may have been wrong. I underestimated Nitro's skills.
It might be,
or I overestimated how far away Turian was. One of the two.
Yep, and especially if he gets this baby skip here.
Yep.
And you know, with the full beam combo, stand-up glitch is very powerful.
Yep. No tanks for that trick though. You're too short for
true.
Nitro.
One short.
Pretty clean Metroid rooms, especially for a non-vanilla runner. This is about as good as I expect. If you watch Hundo runners, for example, they're going to be doing all sorts of crazy stuff, and those strategies are both extremely flashy. They look beautiful, but they're also like ridiculously technical and insanely hard. So don't bemoan anyone for not going for them in any situation that isn't 100% speed run. Yes, hopefully we'll get to see Baby Skip. Looks like he is electing for the classic counterclockwise Baby Skip. Well, I guess it depends on you if you're talking about the direction that the baby goes or the direction you jump over the baby. But in this case, counterclockwise is the direction of the baby, which is what I was talking about. I hadn't actually put that together until I just started saying that right now. That's kind of funny. Oh, a little bit messed up, but he'll be all right. He's even gonna face left.
He's keeping his eye on the prize.
Like a wise meerkat once said, sometimes you gotta put your pass in the behind. I think that's what he says, or behind in the past. I've messed up my silly quote from Lion King and ruined everything.
You did a better job than I would have.
Sun was electing to take the so-called southern route to Croc. For fun, I'm assuming, because I don't think this is faster, but I don't actually know that for certain. Everyone is now joining me in messing up that quote. I appreciate you. Here's the traditional Zeb skip for Nitro. And we need to blast Mother Brain 1 for 3,000 damage once this glass is broken. And then 20 charge shots is all it will take for the Mother Brain 2 phase with this charge beam. And we will be done. Yeah, as stated, sunwufarmer is in here in Turian as this fight starts. That's only like 2-3 minutes of difference.
Very close race.
Somehow reset his timer at some point. Probably hit a hotkey or something else weird happened, but all that matters is that in the race time things are normal, which I expect them to be. Yeah, tight race here as you expect. In the final week of Swiss, you typically have people of relatively even stature, given how the records pair off. But I will say, especially here in the 3-2, there are definitely levels to the runners that are here. I am one of those 3-2 runners, and I'm very much not on the level of some of the other people that have found their way down here in the gallows of this tournament. But it'll be a fun week for sure. We've got a little bit of extended time here. I believe there was one race earlier today, and this is only the second race of this week, so definitely a lot of randomizer action coming for you this upcoming week in this tournament before we get to the bracket stage, and it should be tons of fun.
I think they gave like a almost a full week extension for this week here.
So Sunwoo is doing something to the baby. Wasn't sure if he had some cool fancy setup I'd never seen, or he was just running right and left for fun. But no baby skip for him. His health was also a little bit low. Again, I'm pretty sure if he paused his game, he could turn his auto reserves on and have an extra E-tank, or an extra 100 damage to potentially get through this fight, but we'll see if he remembers that detail.
Yeah, with no screw attack to take off, probably not going to pause.
Hopefully, at the very least, if he ends up taking damage of Mother Brain, he remembers that. But given Nitro's position here, he is looking very, very in pole position to take this race and come up with a very, very strong record of 4 wins, 2 losses in the Swiss stage. I am not sure precisely what this bracket is going to look like when things are all said and done, especially with there being 2 pair up, pair down matchups in the 2-3 bracket. The number of runners in the playoffs can vary up to 2 positions, but I don't know if we quite fill out a 32-person bracket, but I haven't looked at the numbers extensively. And also, that's not my job, bugging him too, as well as the other organizers. I hate those gates.
Yeah, if you don't get like, holding the shot button while going through the door, there's generally you're not going to get past them.
So, into this very, very standard escape, as stated previously. We've got every movement item we could ever want. No screw attack in this room, but that's very minimal. And we're going to be in and out of this escape in very quick fashion, as sunwufarmer has no need for that reserve that's been turned off for quite a while. Gonna kill the brain and get this dot done here, probably while in the cutscene. Yeah, very, very close race here. And a couple of good ones here to start off this week. We've got, I think, 2 more matches tonight. Things are definitely still populating the schedule as we're pretty early on in getting the matchups and figuring everything out, but lots of exciting action for you. There is Nitro on the ship. He's going to finish with an official race time of 1 hour and 30 seconds. On the dot, very nicely done. Oh, I see what happened. Sunwoo's timer reset because he hit a hotkey that actually forfeit him from the race, and then he unforfeit. At least he didn't finish and unfinished. That could have been a little disastrous. But yes, he is going to finish this one out. And as said, very nicely done to both runners. See if either of them want to join us here in the commentary booth, have a little chat about this race and how they felt about their performance thus far. Stated, both of our runners here qualified for our bracket stage, and we'll be moving forward in this tournament. Oh, and there they both are in the setup room. There's number 1, and hopefully Sunwoo not far behind, but welcome Nitro and GG's.
Hello, GG's.
And there's sunwufarmer as well, GGDU.
Oh, thank you. GG's, Nitro.
Yep, GG's.
So I guess I'll start with Nitro. You had a pretty good run through this seed. There was a little bit of unfortunate finding that Ridley at East Meridia. How are you feeling at the point?
I mean, the Ridley, that was whatever. That wasn't the worst thing. I'm more, there was a lot of really, there's a lot of really dumb mistakes. It was a pretty poor run from me. It just I just badly misrouted 3 different times. Forgetting ice was pretty dumb. I did just genuinely not remember I had ice until after Ridley, where I was like, oh no. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the worst thing. It could have been a lot worse. I was kind of just playing for all the majors in a way. Is part of why I made some weird decisions. The Upper North Fair was really bad. That's kind of where things started going south. But it worked itself out, so it wasn't the biggest deal.
Yep.
Did you also do Upper North Fair first then?
Not
after Red Tower.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Okay. And then Green Brim was through.
Yeah, the Chronic Portal.
Yeah, the Chronic Portal.
Yeah. Sunbu, it looked like part of the thing that was keeping you a little bit behind, you had some extra portal checks that were done a little bit offset order, but otherwise the routing was pretty similar. I think you entered Bubble Mountain through opposite places, but especially with the seed kind of played itself a little bit linearly as Sunwoo was gonna try to taunt these animals. You're gonna get it. It looks like a possibility. Oh, we're just gonna spark back. No boomerang. Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, hour and four, those are typically pretty good times no matter what the seed has for you. And you are both going to be advancing into this bracket stage. Nitro, I'm happy to see that after the previous 2 weeks, you got a little bit better back on track. Some very unfortunate things have been happening to you.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I'm not too worried about the seeding or anything though, so just making it is good enough.
Yeah.
It'll be very interesting to see how these seeds play out. Obviously, we gotta finish out this week, which is just getting started, and see what people's records end up at. But yeah, it should be fun. I think you're definitely in a position to do pretty well. sunwufarmer, how are you feeling about your standing in the rest of the tournament?
I'm glad I made it. I feel like I routed this one bad also, and missing the portal checks early was a bad decision. And along the way a little bit, I wanted to go. I felt like instead of, but it bit me. And then I almost died to Ridley, which I was like, oh yeah, there's no way I'm not dying here. Why didn't I farm up for a little bit more health? But
Yeah, getting that no damage hit from the flames there, that was
yes,
pretty nice.
yeah, I was like, I didn't take any damage there. I guess that can happen. I feel like maybe that's happened a couple times, maybe before, but not often.
Yeah, getting that explosion kill was very clutch. I never like to try and go for the grab. I think you were like 26 energy or something like that, and it's like if you're confident and you get the grab, you're fine. But if not, you're just dead, and it would not feel good. I don't know if you had any kind of recent save, but yeah, it was. I've had to do that at least once or twice, and I've only successfully done it once, and it's terrifying every time. So nicely done, and yeah, GG to you, and good luck. In the bracket stage of this tournament, we'll have to see how things go. I think Zeb said something like between 27 and 29 total runners are going to end up making this. So most of us will not get a bye, especially not being. There was going to be, I think depending on how the Nevdi MM2 game goes, there's either going to be 3 or 5 one-loss people. So it'll be fun to see how things play out, but yeah, I think that's all I have for the interview. You got anything else for him, Anthony?
I think that's it. Thank you for Jestro for tracking, and thanks for the runners for putting on a great race.
If either of you have anything to say, feel free.
All right, nope. GG's all. Thanks all for the crew. Much appreciated. My last 3 tournament sets I've had have all been off stream, so I'm glad to get one in there.
GG's
Definitely
Nitro.
always.
And thanks again for comms and Funny and D-Web, Jeff for streaming, crew setup, all that.
Yep, always good to put on a show for the viewers out there at home. And yeah, thank you to Jestro. He's been putting in tons of work this tournament. He's also got links in the chat. Go ahead and give our excellent runners a follow in thanking for the show they put on. Feel free, as well as the commentary team. Our links are there as well. As for the end of this, I'm going to pull up our schedule, see what we've got here for the rest of the day. I know there's one. Oh, it looks like there's one more race tonight. Depending on your definition of tonight, the start time is 12:30 a.m. Eastern. It's Zeb versus Vibrant Colors, another matchup here in this 3-2 bracket. And then tomorrow we've got starting bright and early with Audra versus Fringo at 6 a.m. Eastern. And then there's a 10 a.m. match and several more things on the schedule for tomorrow. Sunday's also populating quickly. And like I said, should be a very fun final week to this tournament. Thank everyone out there for watching. Anthony, thank you for joining me on the comms. I had a blast, and I hope you did as well.
Oh, 100%. Thank you.
Alrighty, so at this point, we're going to close out our stream and say we will see you next mission.